What's going on, everybody? My name is Peter. I'm doing another video here on my Smartthings smart home setup. Basically, my last video I mostly talked about the Amazon Echo and how I was using it to control devices throughout the house and showing how I was able to do triggers and things like that. On this video I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth about my system specifically, because you guys had a lot of questions about pretty much how my house is set up and devices I was using and different apps and screens and things like that. So I'm also going to talk about some of the previous systems that I've used and kind of why I ended up with Smartthings and the setup you see now. So with that, I'm going to get right into it. So before I start, I'm going to start off talking about pretty much where I started in home automation. I started out with X10, which was it's an ancient technology when it comes to home automation. Basically, X10 used your existing wiring in your house and was able to turn things on and off, but it wasn't very effective. I had to install a lot of phase jumpers and extenders and interference, filtering systems in a lot of homes, things like that. But the main reason I was so hooked on X10 for the longest time was the software side of things. There were a lot of software was available to do customizable things like Smartthings does now. And I stuck with the X10, and I ended up getting a program called Indigo that worked with Mac, and that was Z-Wave and X10 compatible. So I actually was running a dual network. I was running X10 as well as Z-Wave before I made the switch to this, and this is strictly Z-Wave, actually, and Zigbee, obviously Wi-Fi as well. So and again, the reason I stuck with the system I had for so long was because it was so customizable. A lot of the bigger companies out there, like Control4, I was looking at Elan, and all these systems, they're very cookie cutter. You're basically you're stuck with what they offer you as far as the graphical user interface, things like that. They're coming around. They're starting to become more flexible. They're offering, I don't know if they're offering better GUIs, but they're offering add-on sort of dongles to work with Z-Wave and work with other device networks like Logitech Harmony, things like that. But Smartthings by itself seems like it's based on an open sort of API, accepting all these other brands and working with them. Again, which is why I've stuck with Smartthings, because they do seem the most open. And what I mean by that is they're working with Nest, they're working with Logitech Harmony, all sorts of different companies out there as far as Z-Wave compatibility, things like that, which is really nice. And especially the ability to use the Internet of Things is a huge plus. So that's kind of where I came from and why I ended up with Smartthings as a home automation system. So I'm going to get a little bit more into my system specifically, and hopefully answer some questions you guys had. Alright, so real quickly I'm going to walk you guys through these two screens here. I know you guys had a lot of questions on what was going on this screen for the home automation aspect, and also you guys had questions about how I was able to get sounds. I'll talk about that in a second. Over here is obviously the surveillance system. This is a DVR based system, which you can find these things cheap on Amazon. I do have a PTZ camera hooked up, so this camera is full PTZ, pan, tilt, zoom, and also these are all just hardwired cameras. And the main reason I'm using this system is because it's really bulletproof. I've used a lot of IP cameras, installed IP cameras, and they're just, I don't know, there's a lot of security issues with them. If the network reboots, you lose your IP footage. If someone goes up, and usually the IP cameras just have outlets, they have power supplies plugged right into outlets right next to them. People can unplug them, and people do unplug them. So with this system, it's run all through conduit. You don't have to worry about someone cutting a wire unless they're really trying to get your cameras down, and half the time these cameras are so small they don't even notice them. So this is kind of why I've always stuck with this DVR based system, and again, they're really cheap. So not only that, everything here, all the wires obviously are run through conduit throughout the house and then fed into this this media closet behind you, which I'll show in a second. And everything is on battery backup, so if power goes out, it doesn't matter. All these power supply, everything is on battery backup in there. So the only bummer about the DVR based system is it does not work with Smartthings. Smartthings does have a few network cameras that work. I actually do have a D-Link camera that I was planning on adding to the Smartthings setup just for kind of testing purposes and kind of seeing what it can do. But I haven't done that yet. So anyhow, on this screen is this is actually just a Mac computer running a Smartthings app. This is called Smart Tiles. And again, this is all web-based. There's nothing being hosted on here. This is just a web server with a custom URL, and I'm able to access door locks, switches, lights, all sorts of things like that, which is nice. And I already had this here. This is a touchscreen I had set up, and I'll turn off the living room lights just for shits and giggles. So there you can see I turned those off. And this was the computer that was originally running the home automation system. So I had this here and had the ability to do it, so I figured why not. I also have a couple tablets I'll show you that are running this same web-based app. To get the sounds, I was telling you guys before, this is just iTunes. It's always in the background. I use it as kind of a media server, and it's running something called Things, or Obi Things, I think it's called. So when I open a door, and you guys have shown you this before,
the mudroom door is open.
It says the mudroom door is open, and I'll close the door, and it'll say it.
The mudroom door is closed.
Mudroom door is closed. So you can see up there the iTunes file is being read. It's obviously coming through some obscure server. I think it's AWS or the Amazon server network, and that's how I'm able to get the triggered sounds throughout the house, like I explained. There's motion sensors, so if someone walks up to the front door, it says there's motion at the front door, and I can take a look on the camera. And not only that, I also do get texts when I'm away, and I'm able to pull up this camera viewer on my iPhone and see if someone's at the front door. So like I said, it doesn't work with Smartthings per se, but if I get the text, I'm usually able to pull up the app real fast and be able to see if someone's at the front door. So that's pretty much what's going on these screens here. So up next, obviously you guys can tell this is a brand new setup, and I've been meaning to do this for a while. This is actually where I've always had all my electronics housed, and they were originally just installed in the closet, and I had problems. Obviously, you know, there's a lot of heat generated in there, and I was gonna install a fan, but I finally ended up just getting, this is just a server rack setup, and I went a little crazy and installed some lights and made it look fancy. So I'm going to kind of walk you guys through this and show you what's going on in here. So up top here, I don't know if you guys can see it, this is actually the MacBook that you saw running up there. So it just has a output VGA and USB out. There's also a couple terabyte hard drives back there that I use as kind of media server aspects. Up in there is just my router that ISP provides. So then beneath that, this is actually just a Furman rack, and here is the Smartthings hub, sits up there. And even though it is in this cage, it actually works surprisingly well. The Z-Wave is still able to daisy chain all the way throughout the house, even outside. So it doesn't really hinder its performance, and putting these in closets doesn't seem to be too much of an issue as long as you have enough devices throughout your house. Here you can actually see this is a GE Z-Wave switch dimmer, actually, so I have it connected to these LEDs on the rack here. Beneath that is the this is actually the Logitech Harmony, and this is a big key to the home automation system that I have set up, and I'm going to talk a lot more about the Harmony and its role in the automation of obviously things like the receiver and the TVs, things like that. Beneath that, this is just a standard HDMI switch, and the main reason I use this is because sometimes I'm triggering different TVs, whether they're inside or outside, separately. So this receiver does have HDMI switching capabilities, but I do stick with an external HDMI switcher, and they're pretty cheap. Next up, this is actually just a cheap little amplifier. I think it's 90 watts. It's probably more like 50 watts, but and this is kind of my latest project. So I do have, this is a multi-zone receiver, and I was able to do you know, different zones on it, but the big thing I was able to do, and this is what really kept me from not purchasing Sonos, is, as you can see here, I have this is just a typical speaker selector. So I have, you can see outside, I have my deck, my backyard, and inside kitchen and living room. So, or I'm sorry, kitchen and bath. So the kitchen and bath are on the separate zone here, which pretty much are almost always running. I'm always listening to music throughout the house. But the big thing that runs outside is this here. So I'm actually able to say, Alexa, turn the outdoor speakers on. And I have just a Z-Wave switch that kicks this amplifier on, and it's connected to the Zone 2 output of this, and the outdoor speakers play, which is really nice because, you know, half the time I'm listening to music inside and I want to go outside in the deck, go in the hot tub, I just say turn the outdoor speakers on, and I'm able to get the sound out there. So it's like having a zone for basically, this was $50. The switch was $25, the amplifier was $30, so $55, and you've got a zone. You can add that, you know, down the line. I could add more zones if I wanted to, more amplifiers and more Z-Wave switches. So it kind of beats Sonos in that aspect. Alexa, turn the outdoor speakers off.
Okay.
So it works really well. Beneath that, we've got Apple TV, and then of course Xbox, just the router, and even further down is the DVR I was telling you about. So this brand is Zomoto. There's a few of them out there, QC, Night Owl, things like that. And again, these are really cheap DVR systems, and then obviously just a little sub controller. So that's pretty much my little media closet here, and like I said, I made it a little overkill with the fancy lights and things like that, but pretty much when this thing's off, it's just a black little closet. You can't really tell what's going on. It is lockable, so I can lock my DVR in there, and pretty much tuck it away. So up next, I'm going to talk about a little bit more about the Logitech Harmony app. And I'll show you what it can do on the iPhone and things like that, but here I have just a Kindle Fire, and I actually almost always recently have been leaving this on the Harmony app. So you can see here, this is Harmony app. I have all sorts of different triggers, and this one's set to Alexa, which basically turns the whole house to the Alexa input, and has sound for the Amazon Echo. But as you can see over here, hopefully my camera will pick this up, you can actually still control, all of the Smartthings devices, because both of these they log in and integrate. So it's really nice, actually. You're able to click things like living room lights. I'm going to hit off, and you will watch those lights turn off. And this is done through Harmony. I'm going to actually turn those back on. So the Harmony app is actually, it's a really nice graphical interface for controlling all the Smartthings devices. I did notice actually that Logitech came out with their standalone Z-Wave controller, so they're trying to get into the home automation game. So you can actually just get a Harmony and that Z-Wave extension, but I think the Z-Wave extender is still $100, so you're better off getting the Smartthings. You know, you can do locks, things like that. Sometimes you have to log in if you want to unlock a door. But let's see if this will let me lock. I think I might have to log in. So it's, you know, it's got some protection on it things like that. And then also included in the list, of course, are all the devices, cable box, HDMI switch, things like that, which is really nice. It's actually kind of cool to have all your things located in one spot. And then of course you can still pick up your this remote I keep in the kitchen, and it also works. You can actually set it up to control your lights, things like that. I'll also show you the Logitech Ultimate remote, which I ended up getting. So this is the Harmony remote. This is actually the Ultimate. Let's see if I can get this in focus here. So you can see actually with the remote itself, you can actually control Smartthings devices. So you can see the bedroom lights, and it also tells you what's on, what's off, things like that. So I can turn the living room lights off. Just tap the little bulb icon there. You can see the living room went nice and dark, minus the table lamps up there. Click it again, and they come back on. So it's kind of nice when you're sitting on the couch. Maybe you don't feel like talking to Alexa. You can just pick up your remote and turn lights on and off. So not only that, with the Logitech Harmony, when you trigger their scenes, you can actually choose entire lighting scenarios along with that. So I actually have, I'm going to scroll up, so when I watch TV with surround sound, which is here, it'll actually dim the lights. When I just watch regular TV, it doesn't dim the lights because it's not really a movie environment. So here's watch TV with surround sound. You will see TV comes on, and we'll be able to watch the lights dim right down. So TV's on, and there goes the lights. So which is pretty great. And then as soon as I hit the off button, TV goes off, and the lights will rev right back up. So, which is great. And not only that, I also included, as soon as I turn the TV or end a routine that involves the surround sound, it actually sets everything back to the Amazon Echo. So that's pretty much the Logitech Harmony. So another thing I'm going to talk about is the use of motion sensors. Obviously, I have motion sensors outside to turn lights, outdoor lights on and off, but I also have them in here in the bathroom. So when I walk into the bathroom, the lights will come on, and it actually controls two different lights. So I have some. Turn these off real quick just to kind of increase the effect. I have some lights in the sink here, which is kind of neat. I put an LED strip behind. This is like a molded, I don't know, glass, fake glass or something like that. So I was able to do that. So it's able to trigger multiple devices on one motion sensor. So you can see here I have it just installed on the wall here, and it does temperature and humidity, things like that. So it also controls the bathroom fan and the ceiling. We're going to take a left here, go into the bedroom. So I have, obviously, the LED lights run throughout the house, but I walk into the bedroom, both the bedside lights come on, and you can see the motion sensor installed up there. I put a little bit of tape on this one, specifically because the bed is right here. So obviously if I don't want to move around in bed and have the lights come on, so that was how I was able to kind of change the field of view and put it up higher so it didn't affect. And also when the dog comes off the bed, it doesn't wake us up and turn a bunch of lights on. So, and of course she's here sleeping. So another thing, including Smartthings, is this is Nala, and she actually has a Smartthings tag on her. So the cool thing about that is when she goes outside, and I usually let her out at night because it's a nice rural area, if she goes without the perimeter of the house, the actual house will say that Nala is outside the perimeter, and I can go outside and call her back, and she comes right back. So another cool Smartthings device there. So another big thing with this motion sensor, and again with Smartthings, so if you notice when I walked in, these all lights came up full brightness because I'm in home mode. So the cool thing is at night, when I went to bed and it's night mode, as soon as I get up, none of these side lights turn on, just these overhead turns on at a nice dim state, and also the hallway light turns on dimly, and as well as the bathroom very dim. So that's the other advantage to Smartthings and their different states, and how they kind of work in that sense. So that's pretty much the motion sensors. So that's pretty much a rundown of my system. Hopefully you guys get a little bit more information about my home automation setup, and maybe give you guys some ideas. Again, if you guys haven't subscribed already, definitely subscribe, and I'm going to try to keep these videos coming as far as sound and lighting, things like that. It's what I do for work, so it's kind of fun to kind of start this channel and keep everyone informed, or give people ideas. So again, thank you guys for watching. Hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one. Alexa, play.